Hello, everybody. Today we have the good fortune of having Shefali Vaidya with us, who we know is a public intellectual, a writer, a social media influencer, and a very powerful voice where Hindu issues are concerned. Welcome, Shefali.
Thank you so much, Kirti, for hosting this. It's always a pleasure to be on an organizer podcast.
Thank you. Actually, the reason we have this podcast today is because there is something that Shefali began a while ago and which has become a huge movement, even though she had not meant or designed it to be such. It was a powerful message she had carried, and the hashtag that began trending and till today trends, especially around Diwali and major Hindu festivals, is no bindi, no business. We would like to analyze the entire gamut of things that go on with this successful movement and therefore this podcast. So,
Thank you so much, Kirti, and I'm so glad that you called me to talk about no bindi, no business. You described it as a hashtag, but the truth is, it's no longer a hashtag. It was when I started it, but now it's become a mass movement, and that is why you see change in brand behavior. But I'm really glad that organizer has called me for this because even though this movement has brought about change in brand behavior, and I can name brands, so big brands like Tanish, big brands like Fab India, like PNG, like Malabar, they've all changed their brand behavior based on this one movement because it's really popular. There have been all English channels, news channels, Hindi news channels also, who have done prime time show on this hashtag. There have been case studies in B schools, and I know this for a fact. There have been articles written by business newspapers on this trend, mostly dissing me, but that's irrelevant. The point is the hashtag is effective. The point is the hashtag has turned into a movement, and the point is big brands have changed their behavior thanks to this movement. But having said that, none of the channels who hosted primetime discussions on this did not show the courtesy to call me, who started this movement, for their discussions. And I'm really amazed. I mean, how can you have a discussion without me being there on No Bindi, No Business, without hearing my point of view? But let that be. I'm not too cut up about it, because the point is the fact that they held these discussions means that the hashtag is effective, means that the hashtag has turned into a movement. But I'm grateful to organizer because you called me to talk about this.
yeah, the reason that we talk about it today is also because Diwali is just round the corner,
Yeah.
and we see a number of advertisements coming up on social media, especially on newspapers, on electronic media, and somehow the color is back,
Yes.
the joy is back, the
Yes.
gaiety is back, and we notice that it was not so a few months, a few years ago. And we also recollect how you had spoken out once against the way the Hindu symbols were vanishing. And
Yes.
we would like to hear from you. When was
Yeah.
it that what hurt you first? What was that grain of sand that this oyster could not digest and wove a pearl around it?
That's a wonderful way of putting it, actually, Kirti. Actually, I've been noticing this for the past almost a decade now, and all Hindu festivals are actually big reasons for economic spending in this country, right? People buy big ticket items around Gudi Padwa, they buy big ticket items during Diwali, during Akshay Tritiya, they buy a lot of gold. So there is a lot of economic turnover for specifically Hindu festivals, and Diwali is obviously the biggest hub of economic activity, which is why most companies give their annual bonus during Diwali because their employees would want to buy new stuff. Many companies, they launch their new product lines during Diwali. They definitely launch their campaigns during Diwali. And about 10 years ago, more or less, these campaigns used to be about the Hinduness of Diwali. When I say Hinduness of Diwali, I mean that these ads actually showed Hindu symbols, Hindu traditions, Hindu way of celebrating Diwali very proudly and very upfront. So there used to be symbols like there used to be Akash Diva or a sky lantern always. There used to be diyas in the background. There used to be garlands of flowers in the background. Entire family used to be together. They used to show pujas being done of Lakshmi ji, which almost every Hindu does during Diwali, even today anyway. There were firecrackers. The entire family, three generations would be shown together. The family would be shown laughing. They would be wearing bright, festive clothes. Everybody would look happy. You look at the picture, even without reading the caption, you would know that you're talking about a festival, you're talking about a happy festival, and you're talking about a Hindu religious festival. Now, what happened because of, I don't know why, probably because woke ideology being prominent in brand agencies, ad agencies. I don't know the reason. But slowly, the ad campaign started changing for Hindu festivals. I'm specifically talking only about ad campaigns during Hindu festivals. And slowly, the Hindu symbology in the ad started disappearing. First, the lanterns disappeared, then the flowers disappeared, then the diyas disappeared, then the mithai disappeared, then the joint family disappeared, then the bright festive clothes started disappearing. Then all the Diwali campaigns had a Sanskrit name. Suddenly, it started becoming Jashne Rivaz. Suddenly, it started becoming Tofae Khas. This Urduization of Hindu festivals started happening. And the Bindi or the Tilak was the last visible symbol to go. And that was most obvious to me, that grain of sand that you're talking about. It was actually an ad campaign of a very old and very traditional jeweler from Maharashtra. Their jewelry store, or pedi as they call it here, is famous for more than 100 years, and families have been buying for them for centuries, for generations actually. And they have always been true to tradition, and suddenly their ad showed, and a lot of other brands also, but I'm talking about this particular brand because it really struck home that so much has changed. So they showed one model wearing very dull clothes for Diwali, and no bindi, no smile on the face. She looked like somebody had died in her family and she was mourning, and they were saying, celebrate festive joy with our brand, buy our gold. So I was like, what's festive about this ad? What's joyous about this ad? You look at this ad, from no angle does it give you a feeling of joy. From no angle does it give you a feeling of festivity. Forget about Hindu religious festivity. I'm not even talking about that. But you look at the ad, you would think it's a mourning ad for somebody that the model has lost, probably somebody very close to her, and that's why she's looking so sad and morose. And that was the ad they were showing for Diwali, and they were talking about festive joy. So it was hugely ironical. And this was not the only brand. Increasingly, brands were showing Diwali ads with just the model. Forget the joint family, forget even the immediate family. No children, no parents, no festive clothes, no joy, no smiles, no bright colors, nor any of the Hindu religious symbols. It was as if the message was, Diwali is just a festival of gifting. So you buy our products, you gift our products, you spend a lot of money. But we will not respect your symbols, we will not respect your traditions, we will not respect the religiousness of Diwali, we will not talk about Lakshmi Puja, we will not talk about diyas being lit, we will not talk about the entire family coming together to celebrate the festival, which is happening in every home today. So was something that was obvious to me, and I'm a mass communication professional. I'm trained to look through this, and I'm trained to look through clutter and find out what real message are they trying to give. And the message was very clear: strip Diwali and all Hindu festivals of their religious significance, of their Hinduness, and reduce them to a consumerist orgy where you spend a lot of money and you buy a gift and you give a gift, and that's it. That's what Diwali is all about. No, it's not. Diwali is first and foremost a Hindu festival. Gudi Padwa or Ugadi is first and foremost a Hindu festival. It's got a religious significance to it. Holi is a Hindu festival. It's not just about doing bhang parties and playing loud music and throwing color. There is a Hindu religious story behind it. each one of our festivals has got a deep meaning behind it. It's got a natural cycle behind it. It's got a logical reason behind it. So why strip our festivals of all religiosity and turn it into this tawdry display of just a consumerist orgy of buying and selling? So it's as if the brands were telling us Hindus that, you know what, we want your money, we want you to buy from us, we want you to buy our fridge, we want you to buy our gold, we want you to buy our saris, we want you to buy our car, we want you to buy our house, but we will not respect your festival.
Yeah, to hell
We
with
will
your
not,
culture
yeah,
and
we
ethos.
will not respect your symbols, we will not respect your traditions, we will not even acknowledge that it's a Hindu festival. We will just say it's a festival of lights. It's not Deepawali, it's just generic festival of lights. Holi, it's not Holi, it's a festival of colors. You know, so this stripping started very, very strategically, and it didn't happen overnight. It took about a decade for this to happen. And the bindi or the tilak was the last visible symbol to go. So that is why when I saw that, and I could obviously understand what was happening because I'm a trained mass communications professional and I have worked in many of these fields. So I could understand what they were trying to do, and I said, okay, now I'm just an individual. I'm not a political leader. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not an actor. I'm not a sports person. I don't have millions of followers. And actually, on social media, I
It's
do,
huge.
but not in the sense that I am a celebrity, right? So I did not know what I could do. I don't even have an
Not a
organization
brand
behind me.
available
Yeah.
for sale on money.
So I said that, okay, what is it that I can do? I can only say, speaking for myself, that as an individual, I have every right to spend my money the way I want to. It is my hard earned money. So I am deciding that for Hindu festivals, I will not buy from brands that do not respect my religion, that do not respect my traditions, that do not respect my symbols, that do not respect or acknowledge the Hinduness of my festival.
You
It's
did this
as
on
simple as that. I did it on Twitter. The first line of my tweet actually says, speaking for myself. You can take that tweet out. I have not deleted it. You can take that tweet out again and see. It was very clear that I was speaking for myself. It was not a fatwa that I was issuing. I do not belong to a religion that issues fatwas and tells people, okay, you do it just because I am telling you to do it. I am saying, speaking for myself, I will not spend money on any brand for my festivals that tells me that you buy my products, but I'm not going to respect your sentiments, I'm not going to respect your symbols, I'm not going to respect your traditions, and I'm going to strip your festivals of all Hinduness. This has got to stop. And I said that it is time that I put a stop to it at my level. I did not expect anyone else to
you
join in.
posted it, and then what happened?
So that was really funny. I posted it around 8 o'clock. And the hashtag, it was an inspired moment. Sometimes things just come together. So I was thinking of, obviously, because today's generation thinks in terms of hashtags. So I was thinking of a catchy hashtag which will reflect all the anger and all the discontent that I was feeling about Hindu festivals being stripped of their Hinduness. So I thought about it, and the hashtag just came to me, no bindi, no business. It's very catchy. So I said, speaking for myself, I will not buy from any brand that doesn't respect my sentiments and whose ads show very clearly models that look unhappy. They look like they're in mourning. There is no Hindu religiosity attached to those brands. I will not buy from them. And I remember this very clearly because it was around 8 or 8:15 when I made that tweet. And I told my husband that I have a feeling that this is going to blow up. So I'm just going to, for the next 24 hours, I'm not even going to, open it, and I'll let it be. I will just let it out there and let's see what happens. And that's exactly how it happened. Suddenly, in 24 hours, the tweet was retweeted by more than, I think, about 15,000 times.
It
and
was
had
just like something waiting
already
to happen.
gone viral.
An
Yeah.
organic.
Exactly. And that is the thing I want you and your viewers to notice. This hashtag didn't become a success because I started. I'm just an individual. It became a success. The hashtag turned into a movement.
Something just got a
Because,
voice.
yeah, because people were also seeing this. The average Hindu on the street was also seeing this, but probably he or she was not finding the words to express himself, which was given by this hashtag. It was trendy, it was short, and it said exactly what they wanted to say. What I felt they were also feeling. They were also seeing that the ads were stripping our festivals of all Hinduness, and they were only talking about spending money. And that bothered people, because today in real life, you go to anybody's house, regardless of which part of India they belong to, regardless of which language they speak, regardless of which financial strata they belong to, on Diwali, you will see that the family is coming together. There are millions of young people who are working in your IT companies or whatever. Diwali, they start catching the nearest flight, nearest bus, nearest train to go back to their native place. Why? Because they want to celebrate Diwali with their family.
True.
That is what Diwali is all about. That is what all Hindu festivals are about. So obviously, in real life, people dress up. Rest of the year, you can wear whatever. But on Hindu festivals, when you're wearing your outfits, you will want to wear traditional Indian outfits. You will want to wear bright colors, because face it, we are a country full of colors. We are a country which
Very
is
true.
full of vibrancy. And you can see that in the flowers that we grow. You can see that in the colors. You can see that in the landscape. You can see that in our arts and
Festivals
crafts. You
signifying
can see
what color
that,
to wear.
yes, you can see it in our art and music. You can see, you take any field in India,
completely.
and you will see that we are a very vibrant, very colorful culture. So why strip our culture of its USP? Why strip our culture of its basic identity,
Do
which
you-
is we are full of color?
Do you think you just threw a spanner into the works of somebody who was trying to turn or water down, or some kind of machinations that were trying to take away the significant asmita, as they would call for
Mhm.
Hindus?
Yeah.
Did you?
Definitely, yes. I don't think there is that one person out there who's controlling this, but there is very clearly a narrative which was slowly being pushed of stripping all Hindu festivals of their Hindu religiosity. That was obvious, and that you could see in brand campaigns across the world. I don't know the reason behind it. Could be that the brand agencies are full of woke people who think that anything Hindu is old fashioned, anything Hindu is bad, because these are not the people who will criticize the traditions of other religions. They will never make an
Yes, I was
ad
coming to that.
for the festival of any other religion, which obviously strips it of its religiosity.
I
They
was
will never
coming to
dare to
it.
do that.
That the people who want to diss your initiative also want to say that why criticize Urdu? Isn't Urdu an Indian language? So what have you to say about that?
Urdu is definitely an Indian language. I don't have any problems with admitting that. But the point is, you go to any part of India, any part, even states where Urdu is officially the second language, and you ask the average Hindu, what does he call Diwali? He'll say Diwali, Deepawali, Deepotsav. Who will say Jashne Chara? Nobody. Okay, if Urdu is a Indian language, so is Sanskrit. So please tell me any Islamic organization that describes Bakri Eid as Utsav, Ajaputra Balidan Utsav. I am very happy to
It
accept.
has to be a two-way street.
It has to be a two-way street. So Eid ke liye show me an ad campaign which describes Eid as Ajaputra Balidan Utsav, and which talks about all the gifting and all in Sanskrit terms. No, they will not do it. Why? Because it's always a one-way street. Secularism, Sarva Dharma Samabhav is only meant for Hindus. All these liberal woke ideas are only meant for Hindus. They're not meant for anyone else. Some brand which they took back their ads, they showed Karwa Chauth with two lesbian lovers celebrating
Yes.
Karwa Chauth. I am not even talking about LGBTQ rights or whatever. I am saying, would you do the same ad for Eid with two Muslim women in a hijab praying for each other? Would you even dare to? No, because then it would be Sartan se juda. तो आप में गट्स नहीं है किसी भी दूसरे धर्म को वोकिज्म सिखाने के, लिबरलिज्म सिखाने के, बिकॉज आपको पता है कि उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस होने वाले हैं. लेकिन हिंदुओं के लिए कुछ भी चलता है. आप उनके फेस्टिवल्स को डिमीन करो, यू डिस देयर ट्रेडिशंस, यू हीप ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ अब्यूजेस ऑन देम, एंड हिंदूज विल टेक इट जस्ट लाइक दैट, नो मोर. And that is what has really hurt my critics. And I'll tell you, Kirti, I got a lot of criticism for this. People have been calling me Bindhiwali Bai. People have been saying that I'm one of those, they call me Taliban, which is very, very ironic. They're saying I'm like one of those Taliban people who want Hindu women to wear bindis at all times. I have never said that. And let me repeat it for your audience. Please find me one video, one post, one article where I have said in all these years, where I have said that Hindu women need to wear bindis at all times. Please show it to me, prove it to me, and I will take back this whole campaign. I have only said that brand behavior in times of Hindu festivals, specifically in times of Hindu festivals, has to reflect and has to respect Hindu sentiments, Hindu symbols, Hindu traditions, and has to accept that our festivals are Hindu religious festivals. Simple.
Yeah. So it was not just that the bindi, and it was not a Talibani fatwa at all.
Of course
it was
not.
just a symbol, the
Yes.
last remaining
Yes.
symbol, evident symbol that was there, and that also was being stripped, and
Yes.
that's why you spoke out.
And I'll tell you something else. In the US, Target, which is a huge brand, it has taken out Diwali ads. Now in their Diwali ads, they are showing women with the bindi. It's an American brand. It is targeting the demographic of Indian Americans who celebrate Diwali in the US. But they are using the bindi and the tilak as the symbol of Hinduism because it is the most obvious symbol of Hinduism. Yeah. You see it in our temples. You see it in our religious functions. Yes. Can a marriage ceremony be done without a tilak or a bindi?
So like someone said, this is the ghar wapsi of...
Exactly. So as Swami Chinmayananda had said it once, and I always find it very memorable, that quote. He had said that my mission is to convert Hindus to Hinduism.
Sure.
Agar if that is the profoundness of this statement, if we all understand it, I think our life becomes so much easier. The idea is not to convert people of other religion. The idea is to keep our own flock and make them understand what is the beauty behind our culture and our traditions. And trust me, I said it in a very viral video which was done by Pracham on this issue, which even today, 3 years later, before Diwali, I get it back from every group that I'm a part of. It is so viral. I had said that being Hindu is being free. Why don't we realize that simple fact?
How do you think this campaign will awaken people and take going forward? What shape do you see this taking or affecting?
See, I'm not again, I am an individual. I have my limitations as an individual. It's not a campaign that has organization behind it or has some weight of big time celebrities behind it. Nobody pays you to retweet no bindi, no business. And even so, the hashtag has been retweeted more than 1 million times organically. Nobody has paid anybody even a single paisa. There have been parallel movements started, like there was a movement started in Marathi for men, ज्याच्या कपाळी नाही टिळा त्याच्याकडून खरेदी टाळा. Meaning on the shopkeeper who doesn't wear a tilak, don't buy anything from them. I didn't start that. It was started by rural groups and it became hugely popular. Recently today I saw a temple in Hospet. It put up a sign which said that no bindi, no entry. So these are all spin-off of this. And it is not just about the bindi, it is about respecting the Hindu religiosity of Hindu festivals. I don't know how it is too difficult to understand. Now, the criticism that I'm getting, and I know why I'm getting that criticism, I'm getting that criticism precisely because the hashtag turned into a movement and it became successful, and huge multi-crore brands changed their behavior. Reliance Trends actually changed their audio-visual ad, which they had earlier aired with the model without a bindi. they then photoshopped the bindi and they aired the same ad again. And you could see the before and after picture, you will see that the brand behavior has changed. So that is what hurts my critics, that one woman, one individual, one common citizen could turn a hashtag into a movement and can force big brands to change their behavior. It's not just because of me. It became a movement because of the support of the common Hindu. And I will tell you how far the No Bindi, No Business movement has reached. Last year, I had gone to Dibrugarh for a conference, Dibrugarh in Assam. And I had gone to a store that sells Mekhala Chadors. And when I'd gone there, the salesman there, he looked at me for a while and then he went back and he again came and looked at me. And then said, आप वही है ना जिसने वो नो बिंदी नो बिजनेस कैंपेन शुरू किया था. So I said yes. So I meet people in all sorts of places. Once I was in a temple in Kerala, and a lady, again, she kept looking at me, and then she came up to me and said, "You're Shefali Vaidya. You're the same person who started this No Bindi, No Business campaign. And I'm very happy you started it. Somebody had to start it. This has happened in Tamil Nadu. This has happened in Karnataka. This has happened in Maharashtra. This happened in UP. This has happened in Banaras. This has happened in Ayodhya." And it overwhelms me when everywhere I go, people come up to me and they recognize me as the lady who started No Bindi, No Business. And these are ordinary Hindus. These are not celebrities. These are not, big names, but they have purchasing power and they save the entire year to make that big ticket purchase during Diwali. And they are saying that I will not buy from a brand that does not respect my sentiments, that does not respect my feelings, that does not respect my traditions, that does not respect my symbols, and you will simply not get my money. Doesn't matter how big a brand you are. That is a fact. That is why Fab India from Tohfa Khas has turned into Swarnim, has turned the full, 180 degrees, and it has it shows now bright colors. It shows everything that is associated with
There was
Hindu
also a
symbolism.
sari brand, a very famous gold
Yes,
brand, all
yes.
India level.
Yes.
Hmm.
Even they have done it.
Hmm.
You're talking about Tanishq, I suppose. Yes.
And also the saris.
Yes. So every brand has done it. They've not done it because I say so. I am irrelevant.
The
They have said
consumer
it because
has
the
suddenly found
consumer,
a voice.
yes. And there have been amazing, the kind of responses I got for it. There was a big Tanishq holding, I think, somewhere in Mumbai, where the model didn't have a bindi. So she actually took a huge bamboo and she tied some cloth on it and she dipped it in black paint and she actually put a bindi on this holding. And this is like one puny 5 feet individual holding a 20 feet bamboo and doing this on her own. I didn't ask her to do it, and she sent me the video saying that, look, I did this. So this has become truly a people's movement, and that is why it's become successful. It's not become successful because I say it. It couldn't have been successful
Long ago,
if just one person said it.
long ago, I also remember reading that whoever designed the bindi on the Indian woman's head as a part of attire or cultural symbol, had deeply given a thought to the fact that Indian women have bold eyes. And to have somebody, while speaking to them, look into the eye and focus their attention on her Ajna Chakra or the power point, the point of power. That was the design which silently went into putting the bindi on the woman's face.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was not an ad thing. Bindi has been there on our foreheads for
that's what I'm saying.
thousands of years. And it has a scientific reason, which you said about the Yajna Chakra, also about the pineal gland. And every time you put bindi earlier, people used to put kumkum actually. Bindi, the sticker bindi is a recent invention. So every time you did it, you basically massaged this area and you replace that kumkum 3-4 times because obviously with sweat and all it would get washed off. So you would wash your face 3-4 times and you'd apply it again. When you apply it, you would massage this area because you would put it with your finger. And obviously that would help in your general wellness also. Now, of course, we moved to sticker bindi. But that's not the point. The point is stripping the models of bindi and all other Hindu symbols. Bindi is the last and most visible symbol to go. But there have been a series of other symbols also that have disappeared from the ads relating to Hindu festivals. I'm not talking about rest of the year you want to sell a fridge or a laptop, do it now. I don't care. But when you're using my festivals to sell your products and you're telling people that you buy my products because it is Diwali, because it is Holi, because it is Ugadi, because it is Ganesh Chaturthi, then you have to respect my sentiments. This is basic consumer behavior 101. You don't respect your consumer, the consumer will go to another brand. It's as simple as that.
You spoke for yourself, but it just became
Yes.
a very organic
Yeah.
movement on its own. It's also that, our youngsters do tend to copy and imitate and normalize what goes on, as something that's okay to continue and follow. So eliminating this bindi symbol also from the festival gaiety and makeup, I think that would have made everybody follow the same thing and watered down basically everything that.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's stripping the festivals of Hindu religiosity, which you are calling watering down.
Yeah.
I am saying it's worse than watering down. I am saying they're saying keep the festival.
Yeah.
Keep the festival as buying and selling thing only. Keep the festival only about gifting.
Give me your money.
But yeah, give me your money. But I do not want to respect your sentiments. I do not want to respect your religion. I do not want to respect your tradition. And that is what is happening, and that is what. But I'll tell you one thing also. After this No Bindi No Business, I go to a lot of colleges and lot of educational institutes also to give talks for various reasons. Every time after that, I meet at least 4 or 5 young girls, 16, 17, 18, 19, that vulnerable age group, and they tell me that listening to you has basically cleaned out a lot of cobwebs in my mind, and now I do wear a bindi, definitely when I wear an Indian outfit for sure, sometimes when I wear a Western outfit also, and I insist on, especially when I celebrate our festivals, that time I insist that not just me but everybody at home wears a bindi. This is change on ground. And that is something that I am justifiably proud of. I am not proud of the case studies in some IIM or some business institute. I am not proud that Economic Times or Business Standard have written articles on no bindi, no business. I am not proud that some primetime anchor is talking about no bindi, no business at the primetime show. But I am really proud that people associate me with no bindi, no business wherever I go across India, and I can give you at least 15, 20 such examples where I am doing my own thing. I am shopping, or I am visiting a temple, or I am eating in a restaurant, and random people come up to me and say, hey, you are the one who started no bindi, no business, and we're very happy that you do that, across all age group, across all demographics, across all economic and educational levels. And I have had people who are CEOs of businesses who were sitting next to me on a flight tell me that, I can't say. I have had the group employees, some of the brands, their group employees sitting next to me telling me in private that you did this amazing thing and we are so happy that internally we could find a talking point and the brand could change its behavior. And this is real impact. This is the impact that I'm proud of.
Also, brands had taken this one behavior they had adopted was outsource the campaigns. Nobody is giving any thought about the real USP of the product and what they stand for, the ethos, what they endorse. It was just a commercial campaign. So I think when you did this, they really sat back and probably took charge of what they actually want to convey, and not an accidental just a sales, caravan going.
That I can't comment, but I can see change in brand behavior.
So now they own they own the campaigns.
I have no data to support this, but I am telling you what was the back end process behind it. I don't know, I can't comment on it, but I can tell you there is change in brand behavior. Whether they've started owning the brand, whether they've started understanding the consumer. The consumer is clearly saying that I want my festivals to be treated like my festivals. Respect me, respect my sentiments, respect my traditions, respect my religion, I will buy from you. If you don't, I will not buy from you. I will look at other options. Consumer has made it very clear. Now, why the brands have changed their behavior is something that you should ask them. But the fact that they have changed and big ticket brands, national brands have changed it is a monument to the success of this movement.
Did any brand reach out to you, and did anybody
Why would they reach out to me? They all blocked me on social media. They made the changes in their brand behavior. They changed their ads. but they blocked me on social media. It's okay. I don't care.
Like trying to explain to you that no, actually, you so many people listen to you, and because you're a public intellectual, actually, this is what we meant. Nobody tried doing that.
No, no, no. Though I have heard that one brand actually reached out to somebody who was a personal friend of mine and said, "What is she looking for? Is she looking for money? Then we can talk." I'm not. I really don't care for any brand's money. There is no price that any brand could buy me for. No price. Thankfully, God has been kind to me and I really don't need money. So I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for fame either because I had very clearly said that this is, I'm speaking for myself. The fact that this hashtag turned into a movement is probably divinely ordained. It is what every Hindu was feeling, or most people who still think they are Hindu. There are a lot of people with Hindu names, but they are not really Hindu. I'm talking about every thinking Hindu who is proud to call himself Hindu. They could identify with it. And that is how the hashtag became a movement. Baki, I am not up for sale. I never was, never will be.
Looking back, what do you think about the whole thing when it started, when it took a form of its own? You had not expected, not designed or meant it. You had just opined your what you
Yes.
felt very strongly about. And now that it's become such a big mammoth thing, what do you feel?
I feel very happy. I feel very gratified. I told you, my achievement is not B schools taking this up as a case study. My achievement is not primetime channels talking about no Bindi, no business. My achievement is not some op-ed guy dissing this trend on some woke op-ed. That's not my achievement. My achievement is common Hindus realizing that this is happening. My achievement is common Hindus saying enough is enough. My achievement is common Hindus forcing brands to change their brand behavior. That is my achievement. And about that, I'm justifiably proud. And again, all the credit goes to Hindus. I'll tell you one more thing, Kirti. See, this happens when you have credibility, when people realize that you are not acting out of personal selfishness, that you don't have any personal axe to grind. You're talking about some issue generally because you genuinely feel about that issue. Only then people will stand behind you. Otherwise, if you are, no matter how big you talk, if you have feet of clay, sooner or later you will be exposed and people will move away from you. The fact that people rallied behind this hashtag, the fact that people stolidly stood behind this hashtag is a proof of my credibility, is a proof of my personal integrity, is a proof that people believe that what I speak from my heart. And about that, I am very, very, for that, I'm very, very, very grateful. And I'm also grateful for the criticism, let me tell you. Because if
निंदकाचे
the,
घर असावे
no,
शेजारी
no, no,
का?
not that. The hashtag got criticized when it turned into a
Oh,
movement.
yes.
There are people using a million hashtags every day on social media. All of them die a lonely death. If only 10 people had retweeted the hashtag, nobody would have bothered to criticize me. Why would they criticize me then? If I had no impact, then why would anybody bother or waste their time criticizing you? The fact that they're criticizing me, the fact that they're writing op-eds about this movement, criticizing, that's okay, but they're writing it.
Yeah.
The fact that primetime anchors are talking about this, they may not invite me as a speaker, that's okay too. But they're talking about, they're forced to talk about it. That is proof that the hashtag is successful,
True.
that it's a movement, and that is something that I'm justifiably proud of.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I think that one word, that it is a divine intervention, is very true over here. Had they not made such a noise about it, their unpleasant behavior would have just gone away, unnoticed.
Yeah. And criticism is something that I'm used to. I've been on social media now for 10 years and I've got everything. I've got rape threats, I've got threats to my family. I'm talking about it very calmly. I've got really pathetic sexual slurs directed at me. I've been told to go sleep with Modi because I like Modi ji so much. And I hope you won't cut this part out of this podcast because I want people to understand the kind of stuff that I
How
have
do you
to deal
handle
with
this,
every day.
Nick?
I'm a strong person. I'm a worshipper of Devi. She gives me strength. I'm a worshipper of Saraswati. She gives me strength. I'm a strong individual. I'm an Indian woman. I'm the ordinary Indian woman who finds the strength within her when she really needs it the most. It's as simple as that.
Also, just to wrap up this, and on a personal note, because I know where all this comes from in you, I want the audience to know what made Shefali the, not in a negative sense, the militant activist kind of person who is out there speaking about her Hindutva so vociferously without worrying about all the slurs and all the negativity coming her way, when she could have ideally sat down in her pretty home, lovely family, had a cool comfortable life, roaming the world. Why? Where does this come from?
I am every inch my father's daughter. You know this. My father was a freedom fighter, and not just a Gandhian freedom fighter who would sit on a fast and say British go home or Portuguese go home. No, he was a revolutionary who handled guns, who handled explosives, who attacked armories, Portuguese armories and military stations, and he spent 10 years of his life fighting for Goa's liberation. And
I
I'm a
believe
daughter
for
of.
those 10 years, he
Yeah.
did not get to meet his family nor come home.
Yes, he would.
Can you
He
tell
would come
something?
home. He would come home once in a year or something in the middle of the night. There were no emails or phone calls or WhatsApp messages, right?
The
So his family
Portuguese
would
had a
never know.
reward on him?
Yeah, yeah. He was underground. The Portuguese had declared him as a terrorist. If he was caught, he would have been probably tried and sent to Angola or something, or worse, hung or whatever the Portuguese did, or tortured in custody or whatever. But they never caught him for 10 years. He would come home once a year or once in 2 years, maybe in the middle of the night. And I have heard stories that when he came home in the middle of the night and he would just knock on the door, and my grandmother used to open the door and she would find him. The first thing she would do is she would touch him everywhere to make sure that there are no bullet wounds on him, to make sure that he's not bleeding from somewhere. And he would stay just for a couple of hours, but she would wake up in the middle of the night. She would heat up water. She would insist that he take a bath, because he wouldn't have had taken a bath in 15 days, one
In the
month, while he was
jungles.
in the jungles. And she would cook a meal for him, and she would insist that he eat, and she would feed him with his own hands, and then he would go as lightning quick as he came. So
I met a few people in Goa who swore by his name and said that they got into the freedom movement for Goa because of him,
yes,
who also trained them to shoot. So
that's
he
right.
also had a good hand with a
Yeah,
gun.
he was Sabyasachi. He could shoot with both hands, and he was an expert marksman. Unfortunately, I haven't inherited that skill, but he could shoot bang on target both his hands. And he was a explosives expert. He's written a couple of books on his days in Goa liberation movement, and he was a remarkable man.
Let
and I
us say
feel
his name once for everybody.
his name is Prabhakar Trivikram Vaidya, and I'm really, really lucky to be his daughter. He always used to tell us one thing, all his kids, that the only way to really bring about change in almost anything, if your surroundings are dirty, if there is a flowing gutter outside your home, the only way it can get cleaned out is if you take a shovel and start cleaning. No one else is going to do it for you. Change starts from you. That is something that he preached, that is something that he practiced, that is something that he taught all of us. And I think that is the legacy that I'm carrying in my own little way. I'm nowhere as great or as sorted out as he was, but I have inherited a fighting spirit, and I have inherited this ability to speak my true convictions from him. That's for sure. I'm every inch
So
my
after
father's daughter.
1961, the liberation of Goa, he finally came home.
Yes.
He was safe. He was no more on the
Yes,
wanted
yes,
list.
yes. But because of that, everything got delayed, because 10 years he had left his education and had joined Goa's
Yeah, he was
liberation
a footballer
movement, right?
also,
Yeah.
right?
So he rejoined his college degree at the age of 31. So from 21 to 31, he was fighting for Goa's liberation movement. Then he got his degree. Then he started his business. That's why he got married also at 35. So everything got delayed. And he got settled in life much later, but there was no regrets. And he did not apply for any freedom fighters pension or any schemes or whatever. He said that I fought because I really cared for Goa's liberation. I didn't do it for
So
any.
the pride in culture comes.
Yeah, definitely. The pride, the fighting spirit, everything good in me is thanks to my father and my mother. Everything bad in me is mine.
Also, your family is one of those few families who moved base from one place to another because they refused to convert during the Goa Inquisition days.
Yes. See, that is a story that affects every woman. It doesn't matter if today they are practicing Christian or practicing Hindu. the turmoil after the Portuguese came to Goa in 1510 and how they politically and religiously persecuted the local people is something that affects that trauma is a generational trauma that affects me. It also affects somebody who is a practicing Christian today. It's just that the choices made by our ancestors are different. My ancestors chose to hold on to Dharma for whatever reason. They chose to leave their ancestral village. They chose to move around with just the clothes on their back and maybe a little bit of gold that they had. And they chose to start life afresh with nothing
with their
in
idols.
another village, with just their religion, with just their dharma, not religion, dharma. Whereas the choice that today's Christian makes was also made by his or her ancestors. They chose to convert for whatever reason. Maybe they were tortured, maybe they were given a bribe. I don't know what are the
No,
circumstances.
Inquisition records prove that the torture was there even for those who had converted because
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
continued
In
to
fact,
worship.
Inquisition torture was for those neo Christians who had converted to Christianity but who were accused of still
They were
following the
actually
traditions.
burnt like witches.
Yes, they burnt is the most merciful of this, I would say, because when you are burnt, you just die. You die in extreme pain, but you die. The kind of tortures that people were subjected to for days on end, like they would be stretched on a plank and their extremities would be torn apart. So all the joints would
All
come out of
sanctioned by
their
the Pope.
sockets. Yeah, the breasts of women would be hacked off using huge tongs. Things
Convert
like that.
fully. That
Yes,
was the message,
yes.
not just thin
So
paper.
the tortures were really horrible, but that's a topic of another discussion. I've talked about it quite a bit. And but what I'm trying to tell you is that it is not that only today's Goan Hindus are affected by it. Today's practicing Christians are also equally affected by it. They don't want to talk about it. That's a different issue. But the fact is, this trauma affects all of us. This trauma affects all of Goa.
Just coming back one last time about your father. After you children were born, when he had chance to sit you down and giving you the cultural values and all, what was?
I come from a very interesting household. It's not just my father. I had a whole lot of ideological smorgasbord, for the lack of a better word, in my home because my grandfather was a Savarkar follower. My father was a active revolutionary. My grandfather's brother was the first satyagrahi in South Goa, and he was jailed for that for 6 months. They all followed different ideological streams. They were all nationalists. That was one thing that was common. They all had a respect for the culture of the land. That was one thing that was common. But their opinions differed about the ways and means that they chose to fight the foreign colonization. So I grew up in a household that was ideologically very open. There were books of Savarkar, there were books of Gandhi also, there were books of Bhagat Singh also, and we were encouraged to read from a very young age, and nobody told us don't read or you're too small, you won't understand anything about it. So I grew up with a very open mind. I chose Hindutva because that is what aligns most with my thought process, and I think that is what Bharat needs in the future.
Thank you so much, Shefali, for speaking to the organizer. This talk can really go on and on because I know a lot about Shefali's activism and her behavior and her beliefs and her courage, but time is short, and also Shefali is very busy doing a lot of things. So we just thank her for this talk and for this podcast, and hope to host you again soon to talk about other issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kirti. It's been a wonderful conversation, and once again, I thank organizer for choosing to host a talk on this particular issue. Thank you so much.